Hello everywhere. Hello everyone. So today we're going to be reading a little definition, appendix chapter from, I'm only going to read about one or two terms from it. But it's talking about index funds and why index funds are some of the best, it's an investment itself. See, I'm getting off topic. I just need to focus, on talking about this. Okay. So, what is the best way to invest your money? This is something that a lot of people have a question about, and I don't blame them, to be honest. So, there are two basic ways to invest your money when you're tracking an index. You could do ETF style investing, or you could do index fund investing. I'm personally an ETF investor, however, index funds are way more stable. So, either way, index funds are more expensive, but they're more stable. Keep that in mind. They're slightly, tiny bit more expensive, so you're probably going to make a little bit less return on an index fund. I could be wrong because, again, ETFs trade like stocks, so, the ETF always will most likely match the index just like an index fund should. But since I didn't really know what the definition of an index fund is, I want to talk about what the definition of a fund is, which a fund is a collection of assets. So it's actually not in this definition appendix chapter, but there is the definition of an index and there's a definition of an index fund. So I will read both the definition of what an index is and the definition of what an index fund is, because I realized I was trying to make this video a long time ago and I didn't know how to express myself. What is an index fund? And now that I have this appendix chapter that has all these definitions, I can. And by the way, this book's called More Straight Talk on Investing by Jack Brennan, John Bogle's successor. He actually ran Vanguard. I think he was the third CEO of Vanguard. I'm not 100% certain. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. Okay? I don't know a whole lot about Vanguard. I just know they were the ones that created the first index fund. Okay. Index. A statistical benchmark used to measure the performance of a stock or bond markets, particular segments of these markets. They are standards against which investors can measure the performance of their investment portfolios. Be sure to compare your fund's performance with a relevant index. So if you have an S&P 500 index fund, you're supposed to be really comparing the index fund to the index. Or like if you have let's say you have the global index, right, and you're comparing against S&P, well, they're two different indexes. Obviously, they're going to have two different performances. S&P 500 is top 500 companies in the world. Global index is 9,000 companies in the world. They're two different indexes. Obviously, 9,001 grows a little bit slower. But if the stock market collapses, the global one will probably do much better during a downturn. I don't know. Maybe that's my theory. That's why I own global. Okay, let's not talk about what I own. Let's just talk about what an index fund is now. Here's the next definition. We just did what an index is. Now we're going to do index fund. Remember, the key word there is fund at the end there. Yeah, whatever. Index fund, a mutual fund that seeks to track the performance of the stock of the market benchmark or index. An index fund holds or a representative example of the securities in the index. Indexing is a very low cost, effective investment strategy that tends to outperform actively managed peers over time. So index funds should have a place in your investment program. Absolutely 100%. I totally agree with that. Again, we're just going to be talking about what should you invest into, not really what investment account you should have. But I love that the next definition right after index fund is IRA. That is amazing. And he talks about the Roth IRA and the simple IRA in that definition, which I'm not going to go into because I'm not a tax guy. I don't really care. We're just going to talk about indexes. I mean, investments are funner than the actual accounts you put in them. It's like a bank account. You just put money in it. There's nothing fun. The yield is what's fun about investing. It's about the yield you get in your money. Yield. But yeah, I mean, I would say just see what you can do. with your money. I mean, in my opinion, I would say buying an index fund is better than what 80% of people are doing in their 20s is a complete waste of time and money, and it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Do not go to college. If you're wasting time and money in college, go buy an index fund. If you feel like you're not fitting in the college and you don't like it there, or if you feel like you're just wasting your time, you're like, oh, I'm just learning, but I'm learning psychology, but I'm not gonna do anything with this degree. Why would you do that? Why would you subject yourself to that torture if you're not making any money on top of it? Why not just work? If you're just gonna waste a bunch of taxpayer dollars or a bunch of debt, or even if you get, like, let's say you get an what is it called, a GI Bill, right? You're just wasting money, and you're just creating the college bubble even worse. You're making the college bubble even worse by not knowing what you're doing. Why? Stop it! Stop it! You're ruining other people's experience by pumping money into this stupid college bubble. And I just can't wait for all these administrators to lose their jobs because they keep scamming so many of these kids their hard-earned money to go to college. It's a mess. So that is why I'm talking about what to put money into. And don't put money into cryptocurrency because that's dumb. Put money into bond indexes and stock indexes. When they say market index, they don't just mean stocks. They mean bonds too. I personally am okay with debt. I think that's a good thing. But if you're using debt for some status symbol like a college degree, don't do it. It's dumb. Anyway, you are someone, I'm someone else. Talking about investments now for some reason because I didn't want this to be an investment channel, but I kind of forced it to, I guess. Goodbye.